Indian naval ships have arrived in Singapore for a 3-day visit as part of the operational deployment of the Navy's Eastern Fleet to South China Sea, underscoring the strong linkages between both the navies. Led by Rear Admiral Rajesh Thankar, Indian naval ships Delhi, Shakti and Kiltan have reached the Changi naval base in the city-state. The 3 ships will leave for Malaysia and then visit the Philippines as well. Big developments taking place as far as India's naval ties with Singapore and other South Asian nations is concerned. My colleague Akshat Gupta with us on the broadcast. Akshat, if you could take our viewers through the details of this latest naval exercise by India.
Well, yes, if I just tell you that it is led by Rear Admiral Rajesh Thankar and the Indian naval ships Shakti and Kiltan reached the Changi naval base in the city. And if I just also tell you that these Indian naval ships have arrived in Singapore for a 3-day visit as part of the operational deployment of the Navy's Eastern Fleet or to the South China Sea, which also perhaps underscore the strong linkages between both the navies, and perhaps the 3 ships will leave for Malaysia tomorrow, and then they will also visit the Philippines. This visit is also part of the operation deployment of India's Navy to the South China Sea. And if I just also tell you that currently, as we know, the Chinese Navy is involved in a standoff with the US-backed Philippines naval ships in the South China Sea, and to increase more security in the South China Sea, so that there is a smooth movement. These kind of operations are being carried out. And Philippines is also trying to assert its claim over the second Thomas Shoal in the South China Sea, which is strongly resisted by China.
Absolutely, Akshat. At the same time, these developments are coming in at a time when there is already certain tensions between the Philippines and China very recently over a water cannon attack by the latter against the Philippines in the South China Sea.
Well, yes, because China claims most part of the South China Sea as a part of its expansionist plans. Be it the Philippines, Malaysia, or Taiwan, they have counterclaims. But these 3 Indian naval ships have been welcomed by the personnel of the Singapore Navy and also a High Commissioner of India in Singapore. And it is also poised to basically further strengthen the long-standing friendship and cooperation between the 2 nations.
Okay, Akshat, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Sanjeev Srivastav also with us. Mr. Srivastav, important developments taking place. India has now deployed 3 of its warships in a naval exercise towards Singapore. The warships will also be heading to Malaysia and the Philippines. These developments are coming at a time when there have already been certain issues and tensions arising in the South China Sea, specifically between the Philippines and China of late. What do you make of this particular movement by India?
Well, Devika, first of all, a very good morning to you. Good morning to all the viewers. I think this very clearly shows that India is very much looking forward to contribute his best to maintain a rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific region. And these waters in the South China Sea region, these are international waters, and there the freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, and unimpeded commerce cannot be disrupted by any country. And obviously China has an expansionist design. China has a colonial design, imperialistic design. They claim, Devika, this entire, South China Sea region, 90% of it as their own territory by so-called imaginary 9-dash line. And this kind of a false claim of China has been outrightly rejected by the International Tribunal way back in 2016. But China obviously rejected the verdict of the International Tribunal, and this case was filed by Philippines at that point of time. And Chinese expansionist conspiracies in the South China Sea is continuing. So India will not accept it. India is a country which believes in a democratic rules-based order. And also, I would like to mention here that the kind of activities we are seeing in the Indian Ocean region by Chinese ships. There are a number of ships in the garb of research vessel, etc. They have been visiting in Indian Ocean region. Currently, also there are some ships, Chinese research vessel. Obviously, these are spy vessels. They visit in the Indian Ocean region. And when China can, move around and operate in the international waters of the Indian Ocean region, the same China cannot ask other countries not to come into the international waters of the Pacific region. And as I said, and I would like to highlight that the entire South China Sea region, these are international territory, and in those waters, there are some smaller countries, and they have their own territorial rights, they have their own maritime boundaries, they have their own exclusive economic zones. But China does not, accept those international rules, and Chinese try to, harass the various smaller countries, whether it is Philippines or other, smaller countries. So I think that kind of a behavior of China must be resisted. And in the process of that resistance, and in order to ensure the freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, and unimpeded commerce, I think it is essential for the countries, democratic countries like India, United States of America, Japan, Australia, and other countries, that they move in those areas. And that is why I think this is a very significant development has taken place, where India has deployed 3 of its warships in the South China Sea region. Obviously, this is the first visit is to Singapore, and later it will go to the other countries. And our Navy will conduct joint exercises with them. And last year also, Devika, we had exercise with ASEAN countries. This was the first ever India-ASEAN maritime exercises which took place. So India, this new India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, is having a proactive Act East policy. And we don't believe anymore in the Look East approach. We believe in the Act East approach.
Yes.
And that kind of Act East policy is being implemented determiningly. And that is what is precisely going to be happening in future too.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.